Heroscapers, AotP fans, congratulations. We hit 100 subscribers. As a reward, my sight and my hearing and whatever other problems I said I had, they're all gone. Thank you so much for helping to fix my life. And I mean, I have this problem now, but I won't blame you guys for that. Truthfully, thank you guys for the subscriptions. I love it. You know, I'm finally triple digits after like 8 years on YouTube, maybe longer. Especially shout out to Ryan. I think Tales of Valhalla. I'm pretty sure he subbed to me on like 3 or 4 different accounts. He has like one that's called Ryan, and he has the Tales of Valhalla, and then I think the other one was like Conductor Productions or something. I want to guess those are all him. They kind of look like or seem like they're him, but the man's basically putting his life on the line for you guys, just so y'all can hear me speak. Imagine. Anyway, on to the topic at hand here. This AOTP game, we got. I'm playing Jace. I'm playing blue Jace, and my opponent is playing green Nissa. 600 points. The same old of kill everything on the opponent's side in order to win the game. We are playing on a map with glyphs, so that's something a little bit different than what we've been seeing lately. Hope y'all enjoyed my my Gideon white supremacist series. That's coming to an end. I'm getting sick of playing Gideon, frankly. So enjoy this one, please. Here's the initiative roll. I believe it is 7-15. Either way, my opponent wins initiative. He's playing green with Nissa, so he's taking the first turn. Moving a few spaces forward, and then pop and sprint. For the map, I'm going to have to put it in the description because I'm forgetting the name. I want to say it was called Icy Road, but I believe it's a competitive C3G map. One of the competitive, I think it's a custom map. But here I am playing Jace, blue, summoning the Geist, looking at Leaf Arrow from the top of my opponent's deck and dropping it on the bottom because I do not want him benefiting from an enchantment the entire game, for sure. Here's Focus Thoughts, seeing misdirection from the top of my deck and putting it back on top.
Splish splash.
And I make Jace take a bath in the ice cold water for my move. My opponent summons the Elf Rangers during his turn with Nissa, and then he summons the Ultimate Kessig Rangers, taking his move with Nissa, leaving her on the high ground over there. Back to my turn. I pick up my my misdirection that I saw. I flicker the Geist off the map, you know, unsummon them, return them to my reserve. Use Jace's Focus Thoughts to look at Aether Spouts, and I return it back to the top of my deck. Re-summon the Lantern Geists so that I could take advantage of Eerie Observation, keep an eye on what my opponent is doing. He has Overrun coming up next, and it's another card that I don't like having to fight against as someone playing against green, so I drop that on the bottom of his deck immediately. Summon the Illusionary Projections, kind of spread out to give me the option to, you know, flee the battle if I absolutely need to. I like to spread them out very early on in the game. Collective Knowledge, you saw, I just drew a card. I drew Aether Spouts. I play Psychic Rebuttal on Jace face down, expecting my opponent to try and make a move on me this turn as I make my first, you know, aggressing towards his figures, attacking the Elf.
You hit like a vegetarian.
Attacking the Elf Ranger and getting, I think it was 1 hit. It was a very poor roll. So my opponent, back to his turn here, he tries to play Snare the Skies. So I did foresee, like I said, I figured I would stop some sort of aggressive attempt towards my Planeswalker. So pretty good use to stop Snare the Skies with Psychic Rebuttal. My opponent follows up by playing Sky Reaping. There's no flying units on this map, so it's basically just draw a card. So he does that. He draws a card. He's moving, taking his turn with the Elf Rangers. The Wounded one takes the Power +1 glyph. Yeah, I should say he discovers it and then takes it. And the other ones are scattering about the map. Here's the first attack. I'm checking line of sight because my opponent wanted me to see if asked me if I agreed that he could see. And I did agree. I think he could see a little bit of that Lantern Geist. So rolling 5 to 4.
No!
Getting a total blank out against 2 hits. Kind of scary. I found this very scary because I didn't want my Lantern guys dying, either one of them dying on the first turn they get attacked. So here's another another 5 versus 4 starting from this one random road space. That's is that a 1-to-1? And then a 4 versus 5 from the guy in the glyph, because the guy's on high ground now. That's a 2-to-1, and one more wound gets through, so he's alive with 1 HP. 1 life, I should say. Back to my turn. Picking up Essence Flux and definitely taking the turn with Jace so I can flicker the Geist and heal the one with 3 wounds. And I use Illusionary Deception to just swap 1 space over with one of the Illusionary Projections. Focus Thoughts, and I see Welcome to the Fold on top of my deck and leave it up there. And now I resummon the Geists with all of their health returned to them, so they can continue being a nuisance. Eerie Observation. Nissa's Expedition, not a particularly threatening card, so I leave that on top of my opponent's deck. I put Aether Spouts face down on Jace, again expecting more attacks from squads against him.
Fam, it's time we had a chat. How dare you watch my opponents suffer in battle without subscribing to my channel, all against my will. Subscribe. Do it. I will wait here until you do. Start parenthesis, scripted awkward silence, end parenthesis.
Don't make me destroy you.
So I attack the Elf Ranger on the glyph with Jace. I roll 3 hits. And my opponent gets a shield. So he does take 2 damage, but unfortunately, he put the wounded elf on the glyph, and that is enough to finish him off, that 2 damage. I use Mind Control on the other elf on the high ground. I walk him away from my own Lantern Geist, and I roll a leave engagement attack. That fails, so I take another 3 spaces of movement to walk back into engagement and away. And
ridiculous.
And that fails as well. And then I take 1 step forward and attack the Kessig Ranger. A 3 versus 2. So that puts 1 damage on the Kessig Ranger in a 1 versus 0 roll. Kessig Rangers are now taking the turn. Hunt at Dawn activates, and he's putting it on, or using Hunt at Dawn for this guy that's taking the glyph. And then the wounded Kessig Ranger walks up into engagement with the Lantern Geist. He's taking that attack first. This is a 5 to 4. He rolls all freaking skulls, 5 hits, and I got 3 shields, luckily. I got a pretty decent defensive roll right when I needed it. And then he has 2 attacks coming from this guy in the back. 2 4v5s. With a blanket on the first attack and a, I can't see, I want to say it was 2 or 3 hits on the second one, but I block it with 3 shields anyway. And my opponent elects to transform the Kessig Rangers at the end of their turn into their wolf form. So now they become more melee powerhouses instead of ranged powerhouses. My turn, I pick up Welcome to the Fold. I unsummon my Lantern Geists to heal the damaged one especially. And then I resummon them to keep that Kessig on the low ground that's on the power glyph. Eerie Observation. Titanic Growth, I immediately dump that on the bottom of my opponent's deck. If you've seen any of my videos, you know that I do not like Titanic Growth. I think it's very powerful. Or maybe I should say that I love Titanic Growth, but either way, I find it very powerful. So Ghost Form on one of my illusionary projections, and then Welcome to the Fold to take a turn with 2 of my illusionary projections during Jace's turn, of course. Or just take a turn to move and attack. It's not technically taking a turn. But the one with the illusionary projection with Ghost Form is attacking the Kessig.
A huge amount of damage! It's down! The blue corner really needed that win.
And I get 3 hits to absolutely 0 defense, which is enough for an insta-kill. And then I have the other attack from the backmost projection versus the guy on the glyph, the Kessig on the glyph. I get a 1 to a 0, not bad for a damage. And then Jace attacks that same Kessig, but a 2/2 for a solid block from the Kessig Ranger. My opponent is summoning the Palmaroot Elementals now. They are getting their chance to shine for once instead of sitting in the reserve the whole game like the previous game when they were used. My opponent puts a hidden enchant on the Palmaroots and then plays Groundswell to give Nissa +3 power for the turn. Nissa attacks Jace. Gets an unfortunate 2 hits to my 3 shields. And then uses Sprint to walk out of sight and hide behind a bunch of trees. I pick up Unsummon, and I'm more than happy to play this right now and kick those elementals, the Palmaroot Elementals, off the field. Unsummon destroys the hidden enchantment as well. It was Fog. And all 3 of the elementals are removed from the battlefield. They have to be resummoned. I use Essence Flux and move one of my illusionary projections way into the opponent's zone right there. And then I take a turn with the illusionary projections. My opponent rolls the LEA at the top left you just saw. It was a... Wait, was it a miss or a hit? I think it was a miss. Now I don't remember, and I didn't catch it on the video. I believe it was a miss, though. And so here I am attacking down on the Kessig Ravager on the glyph. Getting 2 hits to 1 shield, so I believe he has 2 wounds on him at this time. Second attack. That's a solid block from that second attack. And then the last attack is another 4v4. Solid 3 hits. Yep. And 1 shield means he is dying. My opponent is re-summoning the Palmaroot Elementals. Here they all are. He plays Primeval Light and kills my Aether Spouts with it. And then moves Nissa to take a shot at the illusionary projection that is adjacent to the 2 Palmaroot Elementals. And that guy takes 1 damage. There he is. He takes 1 damage when he blanks out. And then my opponent uses Sprint to move 3 spaces and hide behind the trees again. I pick up Jace's Erasure. Take a turn with the illusionary projections, jump on the power glyph, and then begin attacking. I got a 5v3 against a Palmaroot. Get a nice 3 hits. My opponent also gets a nice 2 shields to only take 1 damage. So the second illusionary projection attacks that same Palmaroot, trying to wipe him out. I got 3 hits.
Ridiculous.
And my opponent gets another ridiculous 2 shields for only 1 damage. And I have 1 last attack up. And at 4v4, and I get 0 hits. So my opponent swings back. He's attacking the guy in the glyph. Well, with the Palmaroot Elementals, that is.
Look how they massacred my boy.
And the Palmaroot easily destroys him. And these other 2 attacks, he's trying to kill one of the Lantern Geists that's adjacent to both of his Palmaroots. That first attack was a blank out, and this other one, I believe, I do get a wound. It was like it was a 3 to 1 shield, so 2 wounds actually. But that's okay, because Flicker is always here to save the day. I'm taking the turn with Jace. I flicker them, and then I use Illusionary Deception to teleport Jace across the battlefield, and I am ready to surprise my opponent with some fun shenanigans. Focus Thoughts, Project Self. I immediately just play Selective Memory just to effectively pull Project Self out of my 1-card deck and add it to my hand. And I show my opponent that it is Project Self. Then I put Scatter Arc face down on Jace, because I'm expecting my opponent to pick up Leaf Arrow this turn, and I figured he would want to play it, so that would be my counter to stop it. Resummon the Lantern Geists, And then I bring out the big old Eldrazi Ruiner.
Very strong. Very good.
He's over here to pound Nissa. And I misplayed here. I could have summoned and completely trapped Nissa for at least a turn by putting the Geist next to her, but I miss it. So I attack Nissa with Jace. I don't know if I got a wound.
You triggered my trap card!
But here's Leaf Arrow, and as I thought, my opponent would pick it up and try and play it, so I counter it with Scatter Arc. Destroy that threat. Pulmroot Elemental attacks up at my projection, and my projection blanks out and dies. Jace's Erasure. For my perfect play that I've been planning this whole time, to delete Overrun and Titanic Growth. I told my opponent he wouldn't be happy with what he saw here, because I planned this out.
Genuine chef's kiss.
I think Overrun and Titanic Growth are two of Green's strongest cards. Eldrazi Ruiner.
Very strong. Very good.
I take a turn with him and lash tentacles against the little elf, and then I nail 3 wounds against Nissa, but my opponent immediately heals those 3 wounds off with Bountiful Harvest. And then he plays Nissa's Expedition. I knew he had this in his hand at this point. But again, I failed to realize that I could have just trapped her, and Nissa's Expedition would have done nothing for him, because he can't walk through figures with that. But he disengages from the Eldrazi for free, and then attacks the Eldrazi. Looks like he got 4 hits to my 3 shields. Pretty insane roll. Pretty insane roll for both of us. He sprints and takes the high ground on the road. Back to my turn. I'm taking my turn with Jace. I'm shooting at one of the... I believe it was the Pulmroot Elemental that has a wound on it from earlier. The southmost one. I got 4 hits.
A huge amount of damage! It's down!
4 hits to 1 shield, and it's enough to wipe it out regardless. My opponent plays Pass Revealed on the Elf Rangers to give them +3 move. So 1 runs away from the Eldrazi. That's for a disengage roll. And did I even roll the disengage or the leaving engagement? Tell me I do. Yeah, there it is. And a miss. What do I expect? What do I expect from me? The Elf Rangers are attacking the Eldrazi Ruiner. The first attack here, surprisingly the dice landed on each other. We got 2 hits versus 2 shields. Solid block. Second attack is 3 hits versus 1 shield. Getting 2 wounds. L double .0s, double damage in there. Sprint. I didn't even put the card in here for squad sprint. Oh, this is squad sprint. I must have forgot to put that in there. Misdirection, so that I can seal that in that Path Revealed enchantment for my illusionary projections.
It's mine.
Path Revealed wasn't really going to do anything for me, but it's just to steal it from his figure so that he doesn't have it for them to use anymore. So Eldrazi Ruiner coming in, swinging 7 at the Pulmroot.
Ridiculous.
Getting 1. 1 hit.
Ridiculous.
And my opponent blocks it. Nice and easy. My opponent's turn. Predatory Strike goes on to Nissa. And I wish I would have saved my misdirection for that, because Jace would be deadly with Predatory Strike in this position that I'm in right now. But I got greedy.
Ridiculous.
And here's the Eldrazi taking 2 more damage from Nissa there. Start of my turn, I'm using the Eldrazi Ruiner because I can milk some damage out of him. Lash of Tentacles hits the 2 Pulmroots and the Elf Ranger for 1 free damage on each of them. Rolling 7 down on the Pulmroot again. Getting a solid 4 hits to 1 shield, which is enough to eradicate him. Enough of that crap. Nissa attacks back at the Eldrazi.
First hope they remember Harambe, because he's the only victim in this whole scenario.
And it's enough to wipe him out. Harambe dies. Back to my turn. I flicker the Lantern Geists. Well, I should say I take the turn with Jace, and then I flicker the Lantern Geists. And I attack Nissa. Was that a 4-2? Getting 2 wounds on her? So I think she has 3, maybe 2 life left at this point. My opponent's turn, he's taking the turn with his 2 Elf Rangers. One on the low ground is attacking up at the Lantern Geist, getting, I think that was 1 hit. And then the second attack is a 4v4 on even ground. I get a solid block out of that. I flicker to remove the damage and also move one of my Geists to engage Nissa. And then I run backwards a little bit and take an attack at this Elf Ranger. 3 hits.
A huge amount of damage! It's down!
To a blank out, and he is dead. Here's Nissa again, attacking the Lantern Geist that she's engaged to. Getting 2 hits to 2 shields. Nice, easy block. Jace moves forward. I attack the Pummel Root that has 1 wound on him right there. 6 versus 3. 4 hits. To 2 shields, that's enough to kill him. That's 2 damage. Ow! The Pummel Roots, I think it's the last of them. They're removed from the field. Nissa attacking the Lantern Geist again. But I flicker them, and I think I healed any damage off anyway. Jace is attacking Nissa. And then, wow, this is going fast. Nissa's attacking the Lantern Geist again, but I flicker them and heal them. Jace is attacking Nissa once again. I think we're both literally rolling 6v4 against each other until our figures die. I get 2 hits though. Ow! I get 1 wound through, and I think, yeah, that is enough to kill Nissa. So my opponent rolls an attack up at the Lantern Geist. Gets 3 hits in, but I flicker immediately and heal those 3 hits.
Finish him!
And to finish the game, shooting at the Elf Ranger was 6, getting 4.
Sub-Zero wins. Fatality.
Boom! That's the end of the game. And that is how badly blue can handcuff some colors. I definitely kept my opponent from using his better spells, thanks to all my counter spells and such. Very happy that I was able to coordinate the destruction of Titanic Growth and Overrun with Jace's Erasure. Blue is very hard to learn how to play correctly and to figure out like the best move each time throughout the game. And I don't even think I played that game perfectly, because as I said, I could have completely surrounded Nissa with my summons, and I blanked on that. All in all though, definitely a fun game. Thanks again also everyone for 100 subs. It's been a wonderful time, and I'm actually quite excited for Heroscape to be coming back. So I will definitely be making content for that when it actually releases, but that might be, it sounds like 8 to 12 months down the line. So in the meantime, I'll be working on my AOTP color tier lists, so expect the first video soon. Also, I'm organizing an AOTP tourney. More news to come on that at some point. I'm going to put a link to the Discord down below where I'm primarily chatting with people about, like making customs, figuring out the AOTP rule set, and also like what we're going to do for tournaments on Tabletop Simulator. I will also be active on Heroscapers as always. I will leave a link in the description for my battle reports thread. And if and when I do make my my tournament announcement for AOTP, I will add that to the description as well. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Leave a comment. What do you think I could have done better, as blue this game? Did I miss some major move that you saw that maybe I didn't see? Let me know, please, in the comments. And if you're interested in playing an AOTP tournament over Tabletop Simulator, hit me up either on this Discord link or in the comments below. We'll see you in the next video.